Hi, I wanted to make a quick video to talk about how to create a NearPod presentation for people who have maybe are more familiar with NearPod. So if you've created NearPod presentations before, you may know that they're not the most friendly. You can create slides in NearPod, but they're very limited in features. So the one that says cell signaling here, that's kind of essentially what a slide can look like. You can add very little text to it. So if you are used to having kind of really, let's say, pretty or busy presentations, maybe, then you may want to kind of go back to, say, like a PowerPoint where you have a lot more stuff going on, like, something like that, things that maybe you already have created before. And you can, when you're creating a new NearPod, you can just throw a PowerPoint into the NearPod and it will create a NearPod out of your PowerPoint. The only problem with that is that then all of your PowerPoint slides are basically inserted as a picture, and so they're not editable. Which, if the power's perfect, then I guess you're fine. But for me, I always end up wanting to change things, and now I can't because all of those are, fixed in place. And so I wanted a way that I could make better presentations in Nearpod without having to keep making new ones. And what I found was that while PowerPoint and Nearpod aren't really so simpatico, Google Slides and Nearpod actually are. And so I wanted to give you kind of an example of how you can use that. So here I have I know we're not supposed to be using so much of the Google, but you can get your own Google account if you don't want to continue to use the Fulton County School one goes away. But here I have an actual PowerPoint that is saved in my drive. But when you have that, you can actually open with Google Slides. So it'll open in Google Slides, not as well as, say, okay, definitely as well as maybe your Google Slides are. There's not as going to be as many options for changing, and some things might get a little wonky, but for the most part, it should look just about the same. And so what you can do then is after you've done that, you can actually save as Google Slides. And now that makes it a Google Slides file. And the reason that I did that was that I wanted to get this add-ons. So I have added on, which you can do, the NearPod add-on. So you can do that by just going to Get Add-ons, and it's goes through Google Chrome. I assume you can do the same on Edge. I haven't tried, but when you do that, you click NearPod and open NearPod. And it opens it as like a little tab here on the side. If you haven't logged into NearPod, it'll make you log in, but since I already have a NearPod tab, it's going to keep me in there. And so what this does is it gives me NearPod options inside Google Sheets. And so if I wanted to, say, insert right here let's insert a quiz, then I can add a quiz and add my questions. Or you can use convert to draw it. So if I wanted to convert this slide to a draw it. So basically all the functions of NearPod, it's just that the individual slides are still going to be editable. So I'm gonna so here's my draw it now, which is of course weird because that slide didn't really work as a draw it. But so when you're done with that and you've added, your PhET simulation or your sway or whatever, then you click save and go to NearPod. And when you do that, it will then import it into your NearPod library. And it takes a little while. It's not super the fastest, but now it's in your NearPod library just like all of your other ones. and you can edit it. And when you click edit, it'll go back to your Google Slides here and edit from here. And so it's just another way that you can use NearPod. I prefer this way. I think it is faster. I think the NearPod website is pretty slow when I'm trying to add in things. Um, so like if I'm trying to add in quiz questions, I feel like despite the fact that this looks really slow, um, it can be a little slow on NearPod and a little faster on Google Slides, but it's just another way that you can use NearPod. So hopefully this helped. And if you have any questions, let us know.